Hello everyone. Today we will learn volume of right circular cylinder. For this lesson, you will also use Padlet. Let's continue. Let's start our lesson. Do you know how cylinder looks like? I think you know it from our previous lessons. Let's look at some real life examples. A jar of yogurt or a jar of peanut butter and jelly, a roll of toilet paper or candles, and a paint roll can be example for the cylinder. Let's look at why all these examples are examples of cylinders. Yes, these examples, like this one, have a right circular base, like cylinders. And also, yes, they have also a height. What else? The only similarity is that I think it is not. Let's look at. The only similarity is the base and height. I think it is not. When we say the cylinder has a base and height, we can also think about other geometric shapes. So, what is the special property or element that the cylinder has? Let's look at. When we open the cylinder, we can face with this shape or this shape. This is the net of the cylinder, and the green ones are the base, called as base, and when we can name the radius as r. There are two bases on cylinders, and a rectangle surrounds these two bases. Yes, this is the height of the cylinder. What else? Yes, I think you are thinking that what is the length of the other side of this rectangle? I think you know this from previous lessons. Yes, the length of this rectangle equals the circumference of circle. Why? Because this part of the rectangle should surround our base, which is a circle. So the length should equal to circumference, which is equal to 2 times p times r. Let's solve a question to remember surface area of right circular cylinder. What question asks? Let's look at. It says find the surface area of given wood which has a shape of right circular cylinder. So if this wood has a shape of right circular cylinder, when we open this wood, which is the net, we will face with a shape like that. And if we put the radius and height on this shape, the orange one is the base, so the radius will 15 centimeter, like that. And we know that the vertical part of the rectangle will equal to height of the cylinder. So our height will be placed like that. So let's look at the question. Here we will make some calculations to find the surface area of given wood. We know that the surface area means covering the all parts of the cylinder. So it means if we have two bases, the area of two bases plus area of rectangle. we know that the area of a circle equals to p times r squared, and area of rectangle can be find like length times width. And if we write it like that, area of two bases will equal to 2 times p times r squared plus area of rectangle. Length. What is the length? Yes, you remembered. The length means the circumference of the base circle. So it will be like 2 times p times r. And what is r width? When we say width, it is the height. So if we give numbers for these formulas, we should write 2 times p times, what is our radius? Yes, 15. It will be 15 squared. And it will be 2 times p times 15 times, what is our height? Yes, it is 40. So if we make the calculation, which will equal to 450p, and this is the 1200p, and when we add these ones, we will find that our surface area will equal to 1650p centimeter square. Yes, you did good job. Let's look at some questions that you will love. Before continuing with our question, I will warn you, do not forget to write your comments with the reasons on Padlet. Link for Padlet is here. In our question, it says, Ali, Ceren, Atakan and Defne have 4 bottles of milk. Purple one for Ali, green one for Ceren, blue one for Defne, and orange one for Atakan. These friends decide to play a game in which they will order their bottles according to their capacities. Which bottle among them have a biggest capacity? And which person will drink least according to the capacities of the bottles? Now, stop the video and write your comments on Padlet. I will write my comments here. Actually, there is no one right answer for this question, since I did not give you the radius and height. So, one possible answer might be purple one has the biggest capacity, since it looks like it has the biggest radius, and Ceren will drink least because the radius of the bottles, Ceren's bottles, looks like the smallest one. What else can be? Yes. Also, orange one, we can say orange one has the biggest capacity because it looks like it has both the radius and its height. When we think about it, it can have biggest capacity. Also, Ali will drink, I can say Ali will drink least because the purple one has the smallest height, so maybe its capacity can be the least. Let's think about it. And what if? Now, I ask you to write your comments for this question with given radiuses and heights. I give you radius and height for these cylinders, and I want you to give answer for this question with thinking about the given values. Now we will continue with new questions. We need your help. The question says I have two tanks. First one is with radius 5 meters and height 12 meters, and other one is with radius 10 meters and height 3 meters. I will pour 270 cubic meter oil into one of these tanks. Which tank has enough capacity to take this amount of oil? Now I want you to stop the video and try to solve it. Let's open GeoGebra and solve the question together.
Let's work on this GeoGebra file in order to find that which tank has enough capacity to take the 270 cubic meter oil. In order to find whether they have enough capacity or not, we should know that the capacity means the volume. When they have enough volume, it means they have enough capacity. Let's look at. There are two buttons in here, and we can change the radius and height as you see. And we know that our first tank has radius 5 meters and height 12 meters. Let's change it like 5 meters radius and height is 12 meters. When we change the buttons, we see that our base area is 25 p meters square and our volume become 300 p meters cubic meters. Let's write it. Our volume is 300. Let's write it like p cubic meter, and our radius is 5 and our height is 12. Let's look at the second tank. Second tank has radius 10 meters. Let's do it like 10. And our height has 3 meters. Let's do it like 3. As you see, what you see, I think you see the same thing like me. Our volume doesn't change. It's also 300 p, and when we write p, it calculates. I don't know why. And what is the radius? Our radius was 10 and height is 3. As you see, our two variables change, but our volume become same, 300 p meters cubic meters. And it says the question asks us whether these tanks has enough capacity or not.
On GeoGebra file, while working on GeoGebra file, we found that volume of this first tank is equal to 300 p cubic meter, and the second one has the capacity of 300 300 p cubic meter. And the question said that whether these tanks have equal capacity in order to take the amount of oil, which is 270 cubic meter oil or not. As you see, these two tanks have equal and enough capacity for this amount of oil. Let's continue. Now I want you to think about which of the properties of the cylinder do affect the volume of it. I'm wondering about your comments, so upload your comments on Padlet. Let's look at the simulation and explore the volume of right circular cylinder.
Let's work on this simulation, which is simulation of right circular cylinder. In this simulation, I expect you to explore a relationship between what we know from previous lessons and previous grades and what we are learning now. Let's draw a cylinder, which is a right circular cylinder, and I will divide this cylinder into 8 pieces. Let's color them and let's cut these parts into 8. And I will bring them together in order to ease your exploration. Now, what you see? Actually, yes, I am hearing you. You say that this is rectangular prisms and we know this from previous grades. Exactly. This is rectangular prisms. How can we find the volume of rectangular prisms? Yes, it's the area of base times height. And the logic behind the volume of right circular cylinder is the same. How we can find the base area for this one? The length is P times R because it is the half of a circumference, and this breadth is radius, and our height is height. When we try to find the area of this base area, it is P times R squared, and the height is H. P times R squared times H. And actually, this is when we think the shape of right circular cylinder, it is the same thing. Firstly, we are trying to find the area of circle, which is P times R squared, and we multiply it by height.
Let's talk about the simulation. What did you realize after you watched the simulation? Yes, I think like that. After the simulation, I also realized that the way that we find the volume of rectangular prism and the right circular cylinders are the same. So when we try to write the volume of right circular cylinders, we can say that volume will equal to base area times height. And what is our base area? If we say that radius is r, it will equal to p times r squared. And what is the height? If we say it is h, it will equal to p times r squared times let's think about what we learned today. We learned that volume of cylinders have same logic with rectangular prisms, so their calculation so similar to each other. And the second one, height and base area, which means radius, can increase and decrease the volume. And also, the cylinders can have equal volume but different height and radius. Your homework waiting for you on Padlet. For this homework, you will create 4 cylinders that have equal volume but different radius and height. And you will upload your work on Padlet that I shared the link. Thank you all for watching this video.